How did the Vikings win? I don't know, but we're going to break it all down here next on Inside the Zone with Mateo. Roll the intro. Let's go!
On play action to Jones. Stepping up. Deep shot. It is Edison! Flips the field down to the 40 of Detroit.
And his impact so far on the Viking defense. Second down 9. Darnold getting messy, going deep, and he's got Jefferson. It's a foot race downfield with Brown. Shifting gears. Getting a block. That's 6. And here in the Twin Cities, look at the moves by Edwards. Swashbuckle and slamming.
Another turnover for Utah. Edwards gets it back.
And threw it down. And one. He tried to recover, couldn't do it. It's a 2-on-0. And off the post, Besser caught at her. 2-on-1, Rossi the other way. Rossi with Kaprizov. Kaprizov scores! It's a win for the Wild in overtime. Boldy will head to the bench. And we see Zuccarello. Spurgeon leads for Kaprizov. Kaprizov drops Zuccarello. Back to Kaprizov. He scores! It's an overtime win for the Wild.
Everybody, Inside the Zone with Mateo starts right now. Let's go!
That is right, everybody. Welcome back to Inside the Zone with Mateo. And it is time for our NFL weekly edition of Inside the Zone with Mateo. It's week 10, picks, power rankings, what the heck I learned from week 9 of the NFL. We are all going. Let's start off. Let's get into it. Mateo's Show batting order presented by To Be Determined. If you would like to sponsor this segment, which I use basically every podcast, let me know in the comments. Let me know. And we'll try to get you hooked up for that. And also, I do want to appreciate all the new subscribers. We're trying to build our community here. I would love it. I would appreciate the heck out of y'all if you would all hit that like button. If you all would hit that subscribe button. So we're trying to grow. We're trying to grow the channel and get monetized maybe eventually. And so yeah, let's just jump into the show. What did we learn from last week? From week 9 of the NFL, number 1 is boom. These teams are making the playoffs. This is probably going to be what we're going to keep for the next couple weeks. Looking at the playoff picture updates, we're going to figure out what we're doing, who's in the playoff picture, who I think is going to make it. Note, the teams might change. The list is fluent. Here we go. Here's the chart. Almost 100%. Colts, Eagles, Patriots, Broncos, Buccaneers, Lions all remain in the almost 100% category. The Seahawks, the Rams make it to the almost 100% category. The Packers fall down to pretty close to 100%. Then the Chiefs stay in pretty close to 100%. And then we welcome the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills into pretty close to 100%. So right now, we have all 7 NFC teams that I'm pretty sure are going to make the playoffs. Things could change. As again, the list is fluent. There's still the AFC North winner that's going to be determined between probably the Steelers and the Ravens. And then a wild card spot is also open. Could be the Jaguars, could be the Chargers. We'll see about that. But the Colts, I don't care. I don't care if you lose. And I'm going to talk about this, probably a hint. Here we go. Next thing I learned. They're still being disrespected. Daniel Jones has one bad game. Everybody's down on them. Trust the process. They just got Sauce Gardner at the trade deadline. They're going to be good. Believe me. They're playing in Germany this week against the Falcons. Believe me, they're going to bounce back. They're going to show you guys why they are the best team in the AFC right now. So they're still a lock. And then the Eagles probably had the best week. We'll talk about that in power rankings. They probably had the best week, even though they were on a bye. 6-2. All the teams that were like really affecting them lost. The Lions lost. The Packers lost. I know the Rams won, the Seahawks won, but still, the Chiefs lost, Colts lost. I mean, everybody they really needed to lose, everybody in their tier list from last week lost. So that's something good. That's good. It's very good for them. And then the Cowboys lost. The Commanders lost again. They probably lost Jay Daniels for the year. Terry Scary for the year. Yeah, it's just not looking good for the Commanders. So that division is done, meaning the Eagles are going to win that division. And so they're almost 100%. They're going to make the playoffs. The Patriots and Drake May look insane. The Broncos and Bo Nix are clutch in the fourth quarter. I don't know. We got to play a full 60 minutes, Broncos, but hey, you're doing pretty good right now. You're good. You're 7-2. You're tied for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Then you got the Buccaneers who were off this week. They have to kind of just stay in there because I had them last week. Then the Lions. I was thinking about taking them out to go to pretty close to 100%. They're 5-3. They were embarrassed by my Minnesota Vikings, who again I don't even know how the heck they won. But this Lions, you were close. You were close to being moved down to pretty close to 100%, just like the Packers. I'll explain that in a second. And then the Seahawks and Rams are very good, talented teams. I was disrespecting them, I think, too much. They're here. Sam Darnold's here. Matthew Stafford's here. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, JSN. Seahawks just brought in Rashid Shaheed. And yeah, those are your almost 100% locks to make the playoffs. Are pretty close are the Bills. They beat the Chiefs. I was not set on them. They were losing, but they're back in. I think they're going to probably make the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to win the division with Drake May being crazy, but we'll see about that. The Chiefs are going to stay almost 100% just because I do think Patrick Mahomes is that guy and is going to help them make the playoffs. The Packers are pretty close to 100%. They're probably going to still make the playoffs, but their only 2 losses have come to the Panthers and the Browns. That scares me. You tied with the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, you can beat the good teams, but why can't you beat the bad teams? Something to ponder. We'll see them in action again this week. We'll see what they can do against the Eagles on Monday Night Football. And then the last team, the team that's filled with the most injuries, the 49ers. 6-3 with all those injuries. Mac Jones is riding. I love this. Christian McCaffrey's him. And yeah, I think they're on their way to being 3 teams from the NFC West to make the playoffs. Nobody saw that coming. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking here as these teams are going to make the playoffs. As we are at week 10, we have about 8 weeks to go, 8 to 9 weeks to go. We're about right in the middle, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're getting closer to Thanksgiving, which means hey, we're almost towards the end of the NFL season. There's only a couple weeks left, and it's going to be fun. The trade deadline just happened, so yeah, playoffs are in the air, and we finally start to really get an idea of who's going to make the playoffs. But yeah, that's number 1. That's the first thing I learned from week 9 of the NFL. Number 2, as I hinted already, is this. Boom! Despite being 7-2, the Colts are still being disrespected. My goodness gracious. Daniel Jones has one bad game. And I know that Daniel Jones, those were the days of when he was with the New York Giants and he was throwing all those interceptions. I don't care. He has one bad game. It brings them all back down to earth and they say, okay, they're not even going to make the AFC conference finals or whatever, the championship round. Daniel Jones, one bad game. Why? Just because of his track record? My goodness gracious, this is not deserved. They are a much better team. They lose, okay? They lose one game, okay? Chill. They're going to win the next game. There's a spoiler alert for my picks. They're going to win against the Falcons in Germany. Don't you worry. It's going to be a good game for them. Jonathan Taylor's probably going to go crazy. Daniel Jones is going to have a bounce back game. They got freaking Sauce Gardner, and people are still doubting them. The Colts, I'm going to keep this short, are still being disrespected. And that is the second thing I learned from week 9 of the NFL. The third thing I learned, this is a little interesting. We're going a little Vikings, is boom. There we go. The NFC North. The NFC North is going to be tight. Here we go. Pulling up the standings. I'm going to pull up the standings for y'all. Here we go. There we go. Boom. There we go. Packers 5-2-1. Lions 5-3. Bears 5-3. Vikings 4-4. The Vikings look crazy after beating the Lions, and now they're going to play a very interesting opponent against the Ravens. This is a crucial game for both of them. I think really depending on whoever wins this game, that could really give them something to play for and maybe even make the playoffs. But if they lose, I think both of those teams, if they lose, going to be done. But we'll see. We will see. But you just look at this. You just look like you just continue to look at, look at this division. Look at this division. Last year was competitive. 3 of those 4 teams made the playoffs. I thought it was going to be just as competitive. And it didn't look that way, the way the Vikings were playing with Carson Wentz. But now with JJ McCarthy, they just beat the Lions. So they're only a game back of the Bears and the Lions, who then are only half a game back of the Green Bay Packers. Minnesota, 2-0 against their division. Okay? 2-0 against their division. So they have the tiebreaker for the division. And my goodness, you got a bunch of division games. You get to play the Packers twice coming up. You're going to play the Bears after the Ravens game. If you sweep the Bears, the season series of the Bears, you have that tiebreaker for sure. Who are the Bears playing this week? The Bears are playing the New York Giants. So they're probably going to win unless Jackson Dart does his thing. The Packers play the Eagles. The Lions play the Commanders. The Lions are going to win. I'm going to say the Bears are going to win. The Packers might lose. And I think the Packers probably will lose. Packers are going to be 5-3. Lions 6-3. Bears 6-3. Vikings win, they'll be 5-4. They'll still be in last. But you think about it, then they have 2 games against the Packers. They have 2 games. They have 1 game against the Lions and 1 game against the Bears. I think you're going to go like 4-2 against the division, maybe even 5-1. I think the Vikings with JJ McCarthy, that might be a whole nother story, and this has made this division tighter than it already was. It's half a game. Look at the winning percentage. 625 for the Lions and Bears, 688 for the Packers, and then sitting there at 500. You're all within 150 percentage within each other. You're so close. What's going to happen? I don't know, but the NFC North is going to be very tight, and I'm excited to see which of these teams make the playoffs down the stretch. So the fourth thing I learned this week of the NFL from week 9 of the NFL is this. It's going to be boom. Patriots have another MVP quarterback. Okay, so I said last week the Patriots have another franchise quarterback. They might have another MVP quarterback. Do you see the way Drake May is balling? Drake May is balling. He is balling over there. 7-2 Patriots. Mind you, not that great of players. Stephon Diggs, Travion Henderson. Those are your major weapons. He's 23. He's 23 years old. And he's doing it with those weapons. I'm not going to give any disrespect, but it's pretty good numbers with those receivers, not going to lie. 2025 season stats. 2,285 yards, that's 5th in the NFL. 17 touchdowns, that's tied for 3rd. 4 interceptions, tied for 48th. A QB rating of 74. That's 5th best. He's playing the Buccaneers this week in Tampa Bay. What a game that's going to be. What a game that is going to be. Last game, they just beat... where are we? They just beat the Falcons, 24-23. I know that was a little close, and I think I'm going to blame the defense on that game. 17 of 29, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not the best performance, but then you look at the game against the Browns. 18 of 24, 282, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Against the Titans. The schedule is also very easy for them. The schedule is very easy. Let's just pull up the schedule here for the Patriots. They're playing the Bucs. It's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be able to... You're going to see where they really are. Here it is. Buccaneers. Then you get the Jets, the Bengals, the Giants. Those are all 3 winnable games for sure. So you get at least 3 wins here. I think you're going to beat the Bills. You get the Jets and the Dolphins again. So they add 5, 6. You even go 6-2. Say you go 6-2. Okay? Say you go 6-2. That's good for a 13-4 record. And if you continue putting up those stats, that he has been, why doesn't he win MVP? Especially if Daniel Jones falls off, Jonathan Taylor falls off. Just something to think about. I think Drake May could be. He could be the next MVP. And they would go from Brady. They would go from Brady to Drake May. Tom Brady to Drake May within 5 years, basically. Patriots have another MVP quarterback. And that's the fourth thing I learned from week 9 of the NFL. The last thing I learned from week 9 of the NFL is this. It's gonna be an interesting topic. Boom! The Jets. I'm gonna talk about the Jets. I don't think you would ever think that I would talk about the New York Jets on my podcast. Well, guess what? I get to, and the Jets can actually make people excited. I had no idea that was possible. They traded Quentin Williams to the Dallas Cowboys and Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts. On deadline day, they got so many picks. My goodness, they got so many picks. I believe Adam Schefter tweeted something yesterday of what they got. Let me find it here. It's absolutely crazy. I could tell you, but it's better if you can read it with your own eyes. Okay, where is it? They saved tons of cap space, by the way. Here we go. There it is. There we go. Jets future draft picks after today's trades from yesterday, 23 hours ago. 2 first-round picks from 2026, 2 second-round picks for 2026. 2027, 3 first-round picks. Like, what is not to like? What is not to like about what they got where they can now maybe try to get their franchise quarterback? Build around Breece Hall, who, by the way, they rejected calls. The Chiefs asked about Breece Hall. They offered stuff for Breece Hall, and they said no. But now they can build around those offense, hit a refresh on the defense with all these picks. Who knows what might happen? The Jets, they can get people talking about them, and it's kind of a good thing. Some good things. I like it. You know, very interesting. Very interesting, New York Jets. And yeah, those are my 5 things I learned from week 9 of the NFL. I told you who I thought is going to make the playoffs. Despite being 7-2, the Colts are still being disrespected. The NFC North, I think now after week 9 is going to be a very tight race. The Patriots have another MVP quarterback, and the Jets can actually get people excited and talking about them in a good way. That was very interesting. So there is 5 things I learned from week 9 of the NFL. And now we're now going to shift gears and go over to our accountability from week 9 and our week 10 picks. It's time to predict the unpredictable because it's been an unpredictable season so far. As you know, we're going to take a recap of what I did last week, what picks I made last week, how well I did. I hit 8 out of 6. 8 for 6 record last week. The teams on the bye, by the way, if you forgot, were the Eagles, Buccaneers, Browns, and Jets. My overall record now is 75-59. Not too good. We're about a 56 completion percentage as 75 for 134. 14 games to predict this week. The teams on the bye for this week are the Bengals, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Titans. Here's a recap of who I picked from week 9. As you can see, we finally got a Thursday night football game correct as we beat the Ravens, as we picked the Ravens to beat the Dolphins. But then we picked the Bengals, we picked the Packers, we picked the Lions, we picked the Colts, we picked, the Chiefs, we picked the Cowboys. But overall, 8-6, it's okay. It's not gonna our completion percentage is 56%. I want to get it up to the 70s by end of the season, but we'll see. And then we can maybe compare it to some quarterback completion percentages and see what kind of quarterback we are. But here is week 10. It's our time for our week 10 picks. Here we go. NFL week 10. Let's start going. Starting off with a Thursday night football game. Raiders, I don't know if you're going to even win another game. You're so bad now. I mean, you had Ashton Jenny. You just won't. Pete Carroll, I don't know. I don't know. This is a weird team, though, because like Ashton Jenny and Brock Bowers are good. They just don't have a good quarterback, you know? And I think their defense could hold up. I mean, they almost beat the Jaguars, who are the 7th seed right now in the AFC playoff picture. Brock Bowers is balling, but you're playing one of the best defenses in the league. You're playing a team that just added some players. The Broncos are good. Give me the Broncos, probably in a blowout. I'm gonna say it. It's gonna probably be a blowout. Bo Nix. I feel like this could be the first game you don't throw an interception in a long time, and prove all those haters wrong that you can play a full 60 minutes. I wanted you to show that on Thursday Night Football. I'll be watching. Come on, Bo Nix. Let's go. Let's go, Denver. International game, I already touched on that. There's no way Indianapolis lets them go. There's no way the Colts drop 2 in a row. Daniel Jones is going to show why he is an elite quarterback and why they can make the playoffs and maybe even win the Super Bowl. And I really hope we get to see Sauce Gardner play in Germany. Moving on to the Sunday early slate, because the international early slate, 8:30 in the morning. They're in Germany this week. It's crazy. They're in a new country every day, every week. It's crazy, but it's good for the NFL. I do think it's very good for the NFL. The Sunday early slates begin with the Giants and the Bears, and I think the Bears get this one. I think Jackson Dart just is losing all his players. No Scatabo, no Malik Neighbors. It's just unfortunate, but again, that team is going to be very fun to watch. It's going to be very, very, very fun to watch next year with Scatabo, Dart, and Malik Neighbors. And I want to see what they're going to do. I want to see what they're going to do in the offseason. I'm really liking it. Things for the future for the Giants. But right now, give me the Bears. I think the Bears need this win. The Bills also need this win. They're going to beat the Dolphins. I'm going to talk about the Vikings at the end. I think the Browns get the win over the Jets, who basically just sold everybody on their defensive side. So, and then Myles Garrett, I think they didn't trade Myles Garrett, which is maybe is like he's like gonna. I feel like he might be a Brown for life. He might be a Brown for life, whether he likes it or not. Drake May against Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield. The Bucs are just coming off a bye week, but give me Drake May. Give me Drake May. They're gonna be 8-2 by the end of week 10. Still don't have their bye week yet. Give me the Panthers, who just beat the Packers. If you can beat the Packers, you can beat the Saints, who just got rid of Shaheed. And then give me the Jaguars. I hope Jacoby Myers. Yeah, Jacoby Myers went there? I think so. Yeah, Jacoby Myers went there. Hopefully because he's going to be with Brian Thomas Jr. I wonder who's going to be like the designated wide receiver 1 until Travis Hunter comes back. Is it going to be Brian Robinson? Is it going to be Jacoby Myers? And then even when Travis Hunter comes back, who's going to be the 3? It's going to be very interesting. Jacoby Myers, but I think they're going to beat the Texans, who have no O-line, and I know they have a good defense. I think it's going to be a 17-13 type of game, but I think CJ Stroud's not going to play. It's going to be Davis Mills or something like that. I'm sorry, Texans. I don't know what happened, but the Jaguars, they're on the verge of making the playoffs, which is kind of crazy. The Sunday late slate is going to be definitely really good because we got 2 NFC West matchups. We got the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Give me Sam Darnold, JSN, and Shaheed making his Seahawks debut. But then this one makes it even more interesting. We got the Rams and the injured 49ers, who are still 6-3 in Santa Clara, where the Super Bowl is going to take place. This is going to be an insane game. Is it going to be the Rams or the 49ers pulling out with the W? I got to give it to the hotter team right now. It's the Rams with Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. That team looks really darn good. And then the Detroit Lions are just going to beat up on the Commanders, who are just injured. I'm sorry, Commanders. I love you guys. I love Jaden Daniels, but I don't even know how. I don't even know how his elbow did that, and that's all I'm going to talk about that. There we go. Sunday Night Football is also another interesting game. We're kind of getting some interesting games finally, and we got the Steelers and the Chargers. Both of these teams need wins, and I'm going to trust Aaron Rodgers more than Justin Herbert. I'm not a fan of Justin Herbert, as you know. I don't think he has proved himself yet. And Aaron Rodgers, I think they're gonna get a win, and I think they need this win very they need this win, especially since we have the Ravens playing the Vikings, who I'm gonna again talk about that as we finish up our picks section. But they got to make sure they keep winning because the Ravens could sneak up and grab the division from 1-5 because, again, their schedule is easy. Then we got Monday Night Football. Before we talk about the Vikings game, we got the Packers and the Eagles. Give me the Eagles all day. The Packers, you can't lose to the Browns. You can't lose to the Panthers and then beat the Eagles. The Eagles are one of the best teams in the league, probably my Super Bowl favorite after this week because everything went right for them while they were even on the bye. Saquon got extra rest. Jalen Hurts is balling. A.J. Brown's balling. Devonta Smith's balling. Their defense is balling. They added Jair Alexander. Ooh, that's going to be a good game. Jair Alexander returning to Green Bay. On Monday Night Football, give me the Eagles to beat the Packers. And then the one you've been probably waiting for all day long. Ravens or Vikings, who do I have? Both teams need wins, as I mentioned earlier. J.J. McCarthy, Lamar Jackson. Give me Lamar Jackson. If I have to just keep on picking the opponent to beat the Vikings, I will keep doing it as long as they keep winning. Unless, I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I don't think I'm going to be wrong. I'm more confident than I was against the Detroit game. Division games are always up in the air. Anybody can win on any given night. But I'm telling you, I think the Ravens are going to... I think Lamar Jackson is going to be Lamar Jackson, the MVP Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to show up. Derrick Henry might have a little problem because our run defense looks pretty good. Our just pass defense I'm still scared about. We'll see what happens. But hey, I want the Vikings to win. I'm going to pick the Ravens. I'm taking the safer pick. I'm trying to get my completion percentage up to a better standard, not just off of who I want to win. But yeah, I'm going to submit those picks, and those are my Week 10 picks of the NFL. Again, here are my lists of winners. Broncos, Colts, Bears, Bills, Ravens, Browns, Patriots, Panthers, Jaguars, Seahawks, Rams, Lions, Steelers, and Eagles. Those are who I have winning. Let me know who you got in the comments down below. And it is time to move into your favorite segment of the day of the NFL show. It is time for our Week 10 Power Rankings, everybody. Y'all know you're ready for this. Here we go. Boom! There it is. As you can see, we're doing a little something different here. This number one pick contention list is going to stay the same. It stayed the same for most of these weeks. I'm going to leave it there probably for most of the darn season. And also, the teams on the bye week from last week were also put into, where they were, so I have an idea, so I can't place too many teams ahead of them, because they were on the bye. It's not as fair. That's kind of what I do. So Eagles, Buccaneers, Browns, and Jets were on a bye. However, you can see that I do not have the Eagles. I do not have the Eagles on here because I'm not going to keep them. They're the one team I'm going to put at a different spot than I had them last week. And let's start right now with those Eagles. Right now, let's do it. The Philadelphia Eagles were in Super Bowl contenders ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. Again, I have the Week 9 power rankings, who I picked where I had them where I had each team last week. You can see those three teams: the Chiefs, the Lions, the Colts. They all lost. That means they had an insane week. By the way, all the other teams, like the Packers, who were a threat to them, they lost. The Eagles are now number one. The Eagles are now the best team in football, whether you like it or not. Again, we might have a champion repeating itself again, but hey, give me the Eagles. They're at number one, and that is why I didn't have them at the same spot. And I'm not normally going to move teams that have a bye week. I'm not going to usually move them too much, but I feel like I had to, and I think most people are doing that as well. We will now get into the juicy stuff. We're going to start off with the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens were at just missing the playoffs last week. Oh, I forgot to do this. Just missing playoffs. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I forgot to change the wording of that one. There we go. But they were there last week, okay? And they won again. And I said every win, they're going to move up a tier. They are now a potential wild card spot. And because if they strike against the Vikings, which I do think they will, do that. The Baltimore The Baltimore Ravens. Destroyed the Dolphins. I don't think they're going to destroy the Vikings. But then after the Vikings game, they play, get this, the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Patriots, the Packers, the Steelers. The last stretch is tough, but this next stretch, you have the Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals. I'm saying you're going to win all 6 of those games. You're going to add 6 wins to your current win total. Your current win total right now is 3-5. You'd be at 9-5 after those 6 wins. Maybe if you lose to the Vikings, 8 wins, and you're like 8-6. And then you never know what Lamar Jackson could do. The Ravens, don't count them out, but they're a potential wildcard team right now. The Cincinnati Bengals were just missing the playoffs last week. I don't know why. So I had them as a potential wildcard team after they beat after they beat the Steelers, right, with Joe Flacco. Then I went down to just missing the playoffs, right? I was here, then I go down here. You lose again to the Bears in a game you should have had. It's the same old Bengals team. They're going to be back to mediocre at best. The next team we got are the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are a very intriguing team. They were a playoff team last week. They're 7-2. They are now a Super Bowl contender right behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Actually, we're going to put them ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I guess I don't care about the bye week rules anymore. We're putting them ahead of the Buccaneers at Super Bowl contenders. The next team we're going to be ranking is going to be the New York Football Giants, and I'm going to put them at young but intriguing yet again. They're going to be fun to watch in 2026, 2027, 2028. Hopefully Jackson Dart's not a bust after 1 year. He looks good. Scatabo looked good before he got hurt. Malik Neighbors looks good before he got hurt. They are young but intriguing. They've just fit that category. Next team we're going to rank is the LA Rams. The Minnesota Vikings. We're doing Minnesota Vikings next. Okay. They were just missing the playoff team they were mediocre at best last week. Give me a potential wildcard. They're going to be a potential wildcard team now. This is absolutely crazy. J.J. McCarthy looks like a different quarterback. Our O-line is coming back. The Minnesota Vikings defense is back with Van Ginkel in there. Harrison Smith is back. I like where this team is at. I'm not going to put them too high, but they're a potential wildcard team. They could slip in. To the playoffs. And hey, division even is still on the table here. That's crazy, though. The fact that I just said that is crazy. Now it's the Rams. The Rams were a playoff team last week, and they are going to be a Super Bowl contender now as well by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Denver Broncos. I'm actually going to put them ahead of the Denver Broncos just because their offense looks really darn good. Their offense looks really darn good with Nakua, Adams, Williams, Matthew Stafford. The Rams look for real, and I think they're going to probably be a very interesting team to watch. And they are definitely going to be able to contend for the Super Bowl. Next team we're going to be ranking is the Detroit Lions, who were a Super Bowl favorite last week. And I'm going to not bump them down 1 tier, but 2 tiers down to a playoff team. I don't know if you can win the Super Bowl and lose to the Vikings, unless the Vikings are just that good. That's all I'm going to say. The Lions are a playoff team now. The next team we're going to be ranking is the Chicago Bears, and because I have the Vikings as a potential wildcard team, and I have the Ravens as a potential wildcard team, I gotta have the Bears as a potential wildcard team, and I'm putting them ahead of them just because they have a better overall record. The 49ers are back. They're not just a potential wildcard team like last week. They're not just a playoff team. I'm going to give them some love. And I think we're going to put them ahead of the Detroit Lions. They're so hurt, but they're 6-3. They're a playoff team. Kyle Shanahan, well done. Well done, Kyle Shanahan. You're a playoff team. You're so close to a Super Bowl contender. If you beat the Rams, you are a Super Bowl contender. Write that down. Yes, sir. The next team we're going to be ranking, here we go, is the Green Bay Packers. The Packers were a playoff team last week, and they're going to stay a playoff team because they didn't do anything to impress me, but they lost to the Panthers. What are we doing, Green Bay? I think you're a little overrated, but I'm going to keep you as a playoff team just to be, fair because I was high on you when you got Micah Parsons. The next team, sorry, it kind of sounds really repetitive. I'll keep saying the next team, but that's like what we're doing. The next team is the Commanders, and the Commanders, I'm sorry, they're going to be mediocre at best. Like, again, from like last week, like, you're so injured, and I just don't know how Jaden Daniels' arm did that. I think that's all I have to say. That is all I have to say. It's the grossest injury I've ever seen. That icked me out way more than the Scatabo, which icked me out a lot, and the Tyreek injury. That was gross. The Cardinals are up next. They beat Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to be just missing the playoffs. I think there are just too many teams ahead of them that they can even try to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? I got you. All right, the Steelers are next. And the Steelers, they're kind of like the same boat. I think it's going to either be the Steelers or the Ravens that make the playoffs. So to be that, I'm going to put them in the playoff team because I do think they've been more consistent. But it's going to be one of those teams I think is going to make the playoffs. I don't think both of them will make the playoffs between the Ravens and the Steelers. The Atlanta Falcons are coming up next. They were mediocre at best last week, and I'm going to put them there as well behind the Commanders. Penix, Cousins, those quarterbacks are awful. Drake London's a top 10 receiver in the league. But yeah, that's where I'm going to put the Falcons. Don't really have much to say about them. The next team we got are the Houston Texans, who just look like they need a whole offensive line to keep CJ Stroud healthy. So they're going to be mediocre at best. I'm going to put them ahead of some of these other teams because they've been ahead of them for a lot. Actually, I'm going to put them right there. They've been ahead of most of these teams for most of this power rankings of the season. We got the Indianapolis Colts next. And, I can't just ride you off. You're going to be still a Super Bowl favorite for me. I don't care. You got Sauce Gardner. I'm going to keep them in my Super Bowl favorite tier list. I don't care. You're just going to drop one or two spots. I still think you're a very good team, and I trust you a lot. People, stop hating on the Colts. Stop hating on Daniel Jones. Give them a shot. Okay? Okay, we're good there. The next team we're going to be ranking, here we go, is the Buffalo Bills, and they beat the Chiefs, who I had as a Super Bowl favorite last week, meaning they're going to be a playoff team. The fourth playoff. No, that's Super Bowl contender. Oops. Yeah, no. We're going to put them right here ahead of the Lions, but put them behind the 49ers, I guess, for today. And yeah, the Bills are back. Josh Allen's back. James Cook, though, I did just see something on Adam Schefter. He is not practicing right now because of a foot and ankle injury. We'll keep you updated if we get any information about that before you do. And then we got the Seahawks, who are the third best team in the NFL right now. Sam Darnold, JSN, they got some guys at the deadline. They look a really good team. Their defense is pretty darn good. I like the Seahawks a lot. And yeah, they're a Super Bowl favorite now. They jump from a playoff team to a Super Bowl favorite in 1 week. That's what happens at my tier list all the time. I get these opinions all of a sudden. Welcome to Super Bowl favorites, Sam Darnold. How many teams do we got? We got 6 teams left. Okay, we can work with this. And the next one is going to be Drake May. Drake May and the Patriots, and they are going to be also a Super Bowl contender. I'm going to put them, again, ahead, though, of the LA Rams. So that means the Broncos are out of the top 5. I have the Patriots as the 4th best team in the league, and I do think the Patriots and Drake May are a very good team. And Drake May, as I said, is probably going to make a case for MVP, probably going to get some good MVP votes. I like what they're doing in New England, and good luck to the Patriots the rest of the way. Next team we got here are the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're going to drop. They lose to the Bills, who I don't think are even, like, I'm not as scared as the Bills in the playoffs as I'm more scared of the Chiefs in the playoffs than the Bills. I'm going to put them right here in between the two NFC North teams. They drop a little bit. I think you can't be a Super Bowl contender now. I'm just going to put you as a playoff team because you're kind of right in the mix. You'll probably be back up at the Super Bowl contenders or Super Bowl favorites eventually, but I'm just going to put you down here, just for now because You're 5-4 now. You got to kind of figure some things out, but you do have an easier schedule. So I'm Chief fans, don't worry. They're going to be back up there unless something injury-wise happens. But yeah, they're going to be fine. They're going to make the playoffs, and it might even be Chiefs against the Eagles again in the Super Bowl. You never know. We got the Dallas Cowboys next. Oh, man. The Dallas Cowboys lose to this team. I'm going to put them in the exact same tier as them. Just missing the playoffs. I do think they are a little... No. What am I saying? The Cardinals beat the Dallas Cowboys. That means the Dallas Cowboys are worse than the Cardinals. I don't care if you guys want to disagree. I know they made the Quinn and Williams trade. I just don't see it. They have, as Stephen A. Smith pointed out this morning on First Take, the Cowboys have 2 entire divisions ahead of them, even in the wild card race. The whole NFC North and the whole NFC West is ahead of the Cowboys to make the playoffs. You're just not good. It's not going to happen for you. Your season is over. And we got 3 other teams to rank here. We got the Chargers, who, as you know, guys, I am not a huge fan of the Chargers. They were a potential wildcard team last week, and I'm going to keep them right there. I'm going to put them ahead of the Vikings. I think Justin Herbert, you can trust him more than J.J. McCarthy, but still not a lot. And I think if you win this week, who are you playing? You're playing on prime time. You're playing the Steelers. If you win, which I think I have the Steelers. Yeah, I have the Steelers getting that win in my predictions. If you win, that changes things because then I believe you're 6-3 or something like that. And you're 6-3. If you become 7-3, you're gonna be a playoff team. I just don't trust Justin Herbert. There's something about it, but who knows? I could be totally wrong, and I probably am wrong. Same thing with Josh Allen. It's just my opinion, and sometimes my opinions are too strong for me to even change my rankings. We got the team that beat the Packers. You're young but intriguing, but you're going to be ahead of the New York Giants because I'm just going to give you some love. That's the love I can give you. The Panthers just deserve one of these. They deserve one of these for beating our division rival and just making the Packers embarrassed at Lambeau Field. Are you kidding me? I think now the Vikings should definitely beat the Packers at Lambeau. Maybe even sweep them. There's a hot take for you guys. Let me know if you think that hot take is true, that the Vikings can sweep the season series between the Green Bay Packers. That would be very interesting. I think it could happen, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. And since I'm talking right now, why don't talking about doing stuff in the comments and stuff? You know what's by in the comment section? The subscribe button, the like button. If you aren't already, or you haven't already, please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. We're just trying to grow. I'm just going to say it for you guys. Would you please? Thank you. I would appreciate it all. We just had 2 or 3 more subscribers from yesterday when the time I'm recording this. Thank you for that. I appreciate y'all. Trying to get to 100 subscribers, then we go to 200, 300. It's road to 100 subscribers. 100 subscribers. I know I'm getting all these views from shorts and stuff. I would appreciate the heck out of y'all if you would hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell button on, and let's get back to my last team that I'm power ranking for the power rankings. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were young but intriguing last week, but I looked at the standings. They are in the playoff spot right now, and that means they are going to be a potential wild card. What a jump. What a jump. After that win, what a jump. They jumped from young but intriguing to a potential wild card. I had no idea. I don't know what I was doing, but they beat the Raiders. They're all of a sudden 5-3. They're the 7th seed in the AFC. My word, the Jaguars, and then they just added Jacoby Myers. Look out for the Jaguars, you guys. I was completely they were off my radar. I know they beat the Chiefs and I had them high, but then ever since then, they've just been it's okay. They might make the playoffs. They might make the playoffs because this NFL season is truly unpredictable and unimaginable and just completely different than what we're used to seeing. But yeah, there we go. There are my NFL Week 10 power rankings, 1 through 32. Let me tell you, here we go. 1 through 32. At number 1, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2 are the Indianapolis Colts. Number 3 are the Seahawks. Number 4 are the Patriots. And number 5, to finish out your top 5, are the LA Rams. Number 6 are The Denver Broncos. Number 7 are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 8 are the San Francisco 49ers. Number 9 are the Bills. Number 10 are the Detroit Lions. Number 11, who are now out of the top 10, are the Chiefs. Number 12, Packers. 13, Steelers. 14, Jaguars. 15, Bears. 16, Ravens. 17, Chargers. 18, Vikings. 19, Cardinals. And number 20 are Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. 21, Bengals. 22, Texans. 23, Commanders. 24, Falcons. 25, Panthers. 26 are the Giants. 27, Raiders. 28, Browns. 29, Titans. 30 are the Dolphins. 31 are the Saints. And your 32nd team, your worst team in the NFL, according to my power rankings, are the New York Jets. And yeah, they just belong there because they're the Jets. Yeah, but that's going to do it for today's episode. Those are my power rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. And here we go. Here's a little schedule based for my next week. Here we go on Inside the Zone with Mateo. So Thursday, November 6th. I'm guessing you're watching it here on November 6th, maybe November 5th if I published it earlier. November 6th, I'm live at the start of MLB free agency. Maybe you're already watching that. I don't know when I'm posting this video, but yep, November 6th, I'm live at the start of MLB free agency. Who do the Twins sign? Do they sign anybody? Where do these big names like Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, Pete Alonso, where do they go? I'll give you my live reaction to the first hour or two. And that's normally when we do get some of the bigger deals, which is going to be interesting to see. I'll give you also daily shorts reacting to signings if those happen, if there's big moves, trades, etc., etc. And then I don't know what I'm going to do probably Tuesday. It might not even be anything on Tuesday of next week, but November 13th is a week from today, about Thursday. It's my week 11, the exact same show, but it's for week 11. It's my NFL weekly episode of Inside the Zone with Mateo. Again, I'll have episodes as needed. So just stay tuned and, what would help? Turn the notification bell button on and subscribe so you never, ever miss an episode. But also this weekend, I will post some more 2K25 rebuilds, as you know, to start the NBA season. We are rebuilding every team, trying to win them a championship. We haven't won a championship yet. We haven't even made the finals yet. The farthest we've gone was the Atlanta Hawks rebuild, where we made the, I believe, Eastern Conference Finals. But go check that video out if you haven't already. Go check out some of the other ones, or not if you don't enjoy it, but I'd appreciate it if you would. Again, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to keep God first because he's the most important thing in your lives. Have a good one. This is Mateo signing off, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.